So guys, welcome. Oh, I'm live. I'm live again. And I'm not just live, but I'm here to discuss a very interesting topic with mothers. So please join me. Oh, I am live. Join me. Happy weekend, guys. I'm live. Let's join this live video. Happy weekend. Happy weekend to you over there in Nigeria and in diaspora. Happy weekend. Darren Larry Reviews. Hi. Good to see you here. Thanks for joining. Even though you're a guy and I learned you like girls. Thank you so much for joining. Happy weekend. Thank you. Thank you. I'm just amazed that you are willing to learn about children. By the way, are you married? Do you have kids? Benjamin family, hello. Good to see you. Thank you for joining. Happy weekend to you. Thank you for joining. I really appreciate your presence. Benjamin family. Yes. Thank you for joining. So, Darren, Laurie, do you have kids? Do you have kids? Let me know if you have kids. Okay, Benjamin family, I am very certain that you have kids. You have grown-up kids as well. Okay, thank you for supporting. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your support. So I just thought of making this video to educate people, particularly women, about teething in babies and why babies fall sick during their first 6 months of life. Because most of the time, when women put to bed, they have their in-laws around, they have their family and friends around. Okay, Benjamin family, good to know that you have kids. Thank you. I'm sure that you're here to support as well. Thank you for joining. So, like I was saying, women have people around them when they put to bed, and people come with different ideas. They come with their different ideologies. Sometimes trying to impose their own ideologies on women. And you hear stuff like, okay, this baby is sick because he's teething, he or she is teething, that's why she's running temperature. They just say anything that is wrong with the baby, even if the baby has rashes, they will say it's teething. Anything wrong with babies during the first few months of their lives, people consider it teething. Benjamin family, I would really love to hear your contribution about this topic because you're a woman. You're probably a woman and you have experience. Okay, someone else has joined. Thank you for joining. Okay. Who's the third person? Who's the third person? Okay, thank you for joining. Can I just continue? Can I continue, please? Let me know if I should continue. Okay. So during the first few months of life, babies can fall ill. Let me start from the first few days of their lives. You would see that in some hospitals, some people are admitted for longer than usual. For instance, if a baby has jaundice, if a baby is jaundiced at birth, such babies can be held down at the hospital for longer than usual. So it's not just about teething. There are other disease conditions that can make babies fall ill. There are other things that can make babies fall ill. Okay. And most commonly, oftentimes, what makes babies fall ill is not actually the teething. What is teething? What's teething itself? Teething is a period in a child's life when the teeth begin to erupt, they begin to come out and become visible. Okay, no, sure. Please cook delicious meal. Cook delicious meal that upload for us to watch. Give us the recipe of the meal. So, okay, babies actually teeth by bringing out or erupting that white teeth that we see usually during the first few months of life, and it varies there's no standard age for babies to start bringing out teeth. Some babies can start bringing out teeth as early as 3 months. Others can decide to take their time. They can wait till like 4, 5, 6 months. Some other people will know they'll bring out their first teeth, their first tooth when they are 1 year old. And for some, when they are celebrating their first birthday, they don't even have any teeth. So children reach their milestones at different times in life, and they should be allowed to take their time. No rushing. No rushing. Okay, Ben. Okay. I assume Ben is Benjamin family. Okay, so usually what causes sickness in babies is not really the teething. When babies want to teeth, of course, they will have symptoms that can vary, ranging from swollen gums. They can have swollen gums. If you're very observant as a woman, you should try to check the mouth of your baby when they are still very young. When you have not seen any tooth, but you feel that they might be teething, then you should try and check the mouth. If the gum is swollen and is warm, Benjamin family, my kids start theirs early. That's good to know. I have 2 children, and my first child started a bit later than the second one. The second one was faster, a boy. His was very fast, while the girl's one was a little delayed. But now they all have to. They all have to. But some mothers panic when their child has not started bringing out teeth at certain age. Not just because they want to panic, but because people start telling them a lot of things, a lot of hook and push stories. So, like I was saying, yes, I've seen a baby that celebrated his first birthday and had no tooth. And I've seen one with just 1 tooth at first birthday. Yeah. So it happens. So let me continue. So if the gum is swollen and hot or warm, you can categorically say your baby is teething at that period of time. Then if you notice that because the gum is swollen and warm, they want relief. These children want to feel some sort of relief, and they pick up stuff from the floor, from their environment, and put in their mouth, just to soothe the pain. Because sometimes it can be painful to have swollen gums, even as adults. If you have ever had a dental issue before, if you have ever had maybe a swollen gum, you're trying to bring out a tooth, even as an adult, or you're having teeth problem, you know how painful that can be. It can actually affect the whole of your body. So for children too, they experience pain. So they will try to look for something to soothe the pain, and that's why they look around. They try to put things in their mouth so they can pick spoons, pick toys, pick objects and put in their mouth. You can imagine a baby putting his daddy's toe in his mouth. So a lot of things that they put in their mouth actually introduce or pre-exposes them to infections. Of course, when their immunity is not so strong because they are still young, so they tend to, get infected from the things they pick up from their environment. So it's not really the teething that's making them sick, but because of the symptoms or the effect of the swollen gum or what's happening in their mouth, they tend to soothe the pain, then introduce objects into their mouth, and through the process, they easily get infected. And then mothers will start running around saying, okay, the infection can actually lead them to start vomiting or to start stooling or to start, some of them will not even stool, they will not vomit, but they will start coughing. They will have upper respiratory tract infections. Some of them will not have upper respiratory tract infections, they will have GI infections, gastrointestinal infections, and that's why they start to stool and all sorts. Some of them may not even stool, they may not cough. You just discover that this boy is hot, his temperature is severely hot, or this girl is hot. And you'll be wondering, is it malaria? And some will go ahead to start treating malaria even without conducting any test, any laboratory test. They just assume. Some mother-in-laws will tell, this boy or this girl has malaria, so let's just get him or her malaria. Sometimes you go to the pharmacy pharmacists give you malaria. So they give you anti-malaria. Meanwhile, it's an infection because fever is also a symptom of an infection. It could be that the baby is, in fact, oftentimes, let me say it, oftentimes, when a baby is less than 6 months, it's not malaria, it's infection. From experience, it's not malaria. Like my first baby is going to be 5, and in 5 years, I'm not sure I've treated her for malaria. When she runs temperature like that, I usually suspect infection. I usually suspect. So, teething is not actually a result of stooling or sickness. Early stage of life of children is not actually as a result, may not necessarily be as a result of teething, but what the baby has done while teething. So you should from time to time check the mouth of the baby to observe if the gum is swollen, or if the mouth is warm, or if the forehead of the baby is warm. Yes, most times when they are teething, the fever, when it's not infected yet, their forehead is the one that is warm, not their entire. So when they are, tell you that they are tending towards their teething phase of life. So you should, take precautions, prevent them from putting stuff in their mouth, and you should, keep your environment clean as a mother too. So other things that can happen to babies during the first 6 months of their lives, like I have said, is that they could stool, they could start to, cough. It could be as a result of infection while they were trying to put things in their mouth. But when they are stooling or when they are coughing, I just quickly want to talk about what you can do as a mother before you go to the hospital. Because some people will just neglect their kids that are throwing up, their babies that are throwing up, infants that are throwing up or that are stooling without doing much. They start giving anti-malaria. When you find out a baby is stooling, what you should do is to first get ORS, oral rehydration solution. Thank you so much, Dari Lori Reviews, for revealing me. Thank you for revealing me. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, where was I? So, okay. So basically, as a mother, you should be very observant and you should be pre-informed. You should have all this information at the tip of your fingers when you have a baby, that it's not all sicknesses that as a result of teething. Teething is not an infection, it's not a disease. Teething is not a disease. Yes, vomiting is is a symptom of an infection. Yes, stooling. Yes, baby stooling is not just that. It's not a symptom of teething. Rather, it's a symptom or a sign of infection. It just means that the baby is probably infected. And let me mention at this point that it's not all stooling. It's not all stooling that is as a result of infection. Some stoolings are just normal. Okay, during the first few weeks of life, children pass out stool differently, like in different formats. Or let me say, they pass out stool in different formats. When you just put to bed, when you just give birth to a baby, they tend to stool more frequently. Like the first day they stool, they can stool up to 8 times within a day. You can clean them up to 8 times within a day. And that goes on for some weeks after giving birth to them. You just have to keep changing their diapers because they often stool more frequently during the first few days of birth. After which, the frequency changes. And at some point during the first few months of life, you just realize that they are not even passing any stool. And at that point, mothers become very concerned. Most mothers become worried, especially first-time moms. They become worried that their babies are not stooling. Sometimes for 9 days, a baby will not stool for 9 good days. And you'll be worried that this baby is not stooling. And that's why some mothers go to the length of, inserting things into their baby's anus just to enhance the baby to stool. Like I've heard stories where people put cotton wool, they roll it on matchstick, and they will put methylatum or something that has menthol. They will apply it on it, and they will choke it inside the baby's anus, just so that the baby can stool. In their own understanding, they believe that the baby will stool by so doing. But what actually happens is that at some point in their growing stage, sorry, there was a break in transmission. I think I had issues with my network provider. The network was just rolling at some point. I couldn't see myself, but I could see rolling. So are you with me, Dare, Ilori Reviews, and Benjamin family? Let me know if you are still together. And you can actually drop comments. Let me know what you feel about everything I've said. If I've said something you're hearing for the first time, okay, thank you, Dare, Lori. I guess Benjamin family is still in the kitchen. Please, what are you making? What delicacy are you cooking? So, yes, please, I welcome comments. Okay, Benjamin family, thank you. If you have any comments, perhaps you're just hearing any of this for the first time, let me know. Or if you had known this, you can just confirm everything I have said. Or if you have any contribution, please do well to put it in the comments. Okay, thank you, Dari. You said, yeah, I'm learning. Thank you. So where was I before the break in transmission? I guess I'm too serious about this live stream. I just have to. My profession is a serious one, so we have to be serious all the time. Okay, just eggs and bread for the kids. Okay, well done, Mama. Well done. So where was I? Let me try to remember. Okay, I was talking about stooling. Her baby's stooling. Sometimes they just cease. Never knew that vomiting was a sign of infection. So just learn something new. Okay, vomiting is a sign of infection. Yes, and it's a it could be a gastrointestinal infection. So although it's not just only a sign of infection, when you are nauseated, when you are eating something that nauseates you, you could also vomit. You can also vomit if you are nauseated. If you are pregnant, of course, during the first few months of pregnancy, that's the early morning sickness. Someone can vomit too. So vomiting in babies, especially during the first few months of life, it could be as a result of infection. Yes. Okay, food poisoning too can cause vomiting. You can vomit as a result of food poisoning. So it's not just a sign of infection. But I'm specific about children now. When you have children, especially during the first few months of their lives, when they start vomiting, you should think of infection. So let's go back to stooling. So when they see stooling, you don't have to put rub inside their anus. They will still stool eventually. So what you should do at that period in time, if you're on exclusive breastfeeding, just continue to breastfeed. And you as the mother, you take more fluid and you increase your vegetable intake and your fruit intake. So And at some point, the baby will start to stool normally again. They start to stool normally again. That was a deviation. I just digressed. I just digressed. So one other infection or disease condition in children that I'd like to talk about is jaundice. Jaundice in babies. So how do you know a baby is jaundiced? In this part of the world, in Nigeria, some of our mother-in-laws, I don't know, maybe from experience, they know when a baby is jaundiced. Okay, I used to have the impression stooling was normal in babies when they are teething. I'm actually learning. Okay, thank you, Benjamin family. Stooling is not normal. It's not normal. It's as a result of what they might have put in their mouths because they were uncomfortable. They were not comfortable with the amount because their gum is swollen and it's painful and it's hot and they're trying to soothe their gums. So they tend to put things, dirty things, things that are contaminated, they tend to put them in their mouth and in the process they get infected. And how we can help them is to clean our environment, ensure that what you give them to put in their mouth is sterilized, is clean as much as possible. You can, buy sterilizing tablets, put in water, put some iron spoons inside, then keep it in the fridge for it to be cool. Then you give them to, play with. But you have to monitor them, you have to supervise them. You can also wash your hands very well. Wash your thumb, put it in sterilized water, and you put your thumb. You can give them your thumb to suck if it is clean and sterilized, instead of giving them toys that might have been infected or that might be dirty, so to say. So thank you. I'm glad that you're learning. So the next thing I was talking about is jaundice. Jaundice in kids can be diagnosed clinically, but our mothers have these instincts, our mother-in-laws, our mothers, they have the instinct, they just know when a baby is jaundiced. So if it is not severe, you might not see yellowish of the eyes. If it's not severe, it's through clinical test that they will confirm to you that a baby is jaundiced. So when a baby is jaundiced, it's very dangerous. It's risky for you to keep such babies in the house and be self-medicating. So it's best to take the baby to the hospital. If it is really severe, they'll put the baby under the UV light. But if it is not so severe, breast milk, from experience, I realized that breast milk is very, very essential in the treatment for jaundice. So when a baby is jaundiced, instead of trying to, if the baby is not breastfeeding, fine, you can introduce complementary feeding briefly, because jaundice tends to make babies dehydrated. So you have to keep that baby hydrated and rehydrated by breastfeeding. The baby needs a lot of food. If you are not really producing milk at that time, you can use external breast pump. Pump the breast milk, get a clean syringe, and be using to feed your babies. Have a sterilizing unit where you sterilize the syringe after use, then feed that baby with breast milk as less, in fact, more frequently than a baby that is not jaundiced. So make sure you give that baby breast milk. I think breast milk will help to break down the high bilirubin level. It worked for me. When I had a baby, it was jaundiced, and they started us on UV phototherapy. They started us on phototherapy. They put the baby under light and all those. And we were staying too long in the hospital. We had spent like 5 days, and I just wanted to leave. I was exhausted. I just wanted a feel of home. So they had to just discharge, even though the bilirubin level was still a bit high, but they noticed that it started coming down a little, just slightly, but they just discharged us and they asked us to come back the following week. But I didn't come back. I combined home remedy with breast milk, and it really worked. And the home remedy we used was unripe pawpaw. We soaked unripe pawpaw. We washed unripe pawpaw, sliced and soaked in water. And I was drinking. I wasn't giving the baby. I was drinking it. And I kept breastfeeding as often, in fact, more often than necessary. I was breastfeeding the baby. And before I knew it, it became fine. It became fine, and we didn't need to go back to the hospital. True, breast milk is so nutritious. because I remember using that for my eldest daughter some years ago when I was told she had jaundice, and it worked like magic. Honestly, it worked. It was one of my corner mates in the hospital on the ward that the baby was jaundiced, and she put to bed before me, and we became partners in jaundiced babies. So she was the one that told me that, oh, she has started expressing breast milk, and she was using syringe to give this baby, because at some point they advised that we get nan one and be feeding the baby complementary milk, because the baby was dehydrated because of the phototherapy. Phototherapy is like exposing the baby to early morning sun. So the baby was, you see, the skin will be scaly, it will be dry. So the baby was dehydrated, and they said we should introduce complementary food just to aid the breast milk, to as an adjunct to the breast milk. So I did that for one day, just one day. It was my partner that now called my attention to it, that, please, do you intend to do exclusive breastfeeding? I said yes, but with the way things are going, I might not be able to do it. She now said, please get a breast pump, be expressing the breast milk, buy a syringe, be giving the baby. That was how I started to do that from the ward. It was when I started doing that we tested, and the bilirubin level dropped slightly. It was by that time that the bilirubin level dropped slightly before we were now discharged. Not to say that the phototherapy did not work, probably had worked too. So it was a combined effort of both the phototherapy and the breast milk. But in essence, breast milk is superb. Breast milk is superb, and I advise anyone to exclusively breastfeed, if not up to 6 months, for at least 4 months. It's very good. So going back to jaundice, breast milk is the perfect miracle wonder for any kind of disease that a baby may have during the first few months of life. So if you exclusively, so I'm tending towards advocating for exclusive breastfeeding now. So exclusively breastfed babies have stronger immunity. I'm not saying those who are not exclusively breastfed are sticklers, no, but I'm just saying, according to research, the exclusively breastfed babies have stronger immunity. So if you exclusively breastfeed your baby, number one, it's cheap. It's very cheap. You don't have to start spending on complementary food for the first few months of life. So you just basically face your front and breastfeed, which is at zero cost. It's free. It's God-given. So you breastfeed, and you don't have to start to worry about infections, because one other ways by which babies get infected is through the use of spoons, through the use of their feeding bottles and all sorts. If you're not very careful, those things can easily get infected. They can easily get contaminated. They can easily get dirty and contaminate their food. You may not see the dirt, but they can easily contaminate their food, and they can simply come down with infections. They can introduce infections into the baby's system. So any day, anytime, advocate exclusive breastfeeding. By the time this live is up to 30 minutes, I believe I should let you go, because I have almost said everything that I wanted to say. So I am here, and I just thought of sharing something basic yet very important for mothers to know. And I believe that some other people who did not join this live will find this video expository. They'll find it helpful. So Dare, I really wish that you could give me a review. I really wish you could drop a review. Benjamin family, I would love a review about this video. What do you think? How did you see this video? How do you think I can improve? Do you think, can you rate me? Yeah, because I'm not used to going live, but it's one of the things I'm learning to grow. And I really appreciate your support. And also I appreciate your Benjamin family. I must confess that I did enjoy every bit. That's so heartwarming. Thank you so much. Thank you. Dari, amazing, powerful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. So I hope that when next I go live, you will still join. Thank you for your support. I really love and appreciate it. Bye. 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 Thank you for staying till the end. Thank you so much. Bye. All right. All right. We'll be back for more. Thank you for your support. Thank you. Bye-bye. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Dari, bye.